All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're tackling something absolutely critical for the UK's public services. And this isn't just about tighter budgets or some shiny new tech. No, this is about a massive shift in leadership and in thinking. So let's explore what that really looks like.
So let's set the scene. Right now, whether you're talking about local councils or the NHS, these organizations are up against one of the toughest periods in a generation. The pressure is just immense. And for all of us who rely on these services, the stakes, well, they couldn't be higher. And look, this isn't just some vague feeling. The numbers are stark. We're talking about central government departments having to find double-digit efficiency savings. At the same time, NHS trusts are dealing with record-breaking waiting lists. So what do? The old playbook of just cutting costs, that's just not going to cut it anymore. Which brings us to the big question, right? The one at the very heart of this whole thing. How on earth do you improve services, meet this rising demand, and frankly, restore public trust when money is so tight? And the answer, as we're about to see, isn't about doing less. It's about working smarter. Okay, so the solution that leaders are looking to is called intelligent transformation. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Another buzzword, right? But stick with me, because this is not just about buying new gadgets. It's a fundamental rethink of how public services get designed and delivered. So let's break that down. What does intelligent transformation actually mean? Well, the formal definition is right here, but a couple of phrases really jump out. First, it's the deliberate redesign of services. But honestly, the most important part is that last bit. It's all about clearly defined business outcomes. In other words, you're not just installing new software because it's cool, you're doing it to get a specific, measurable result. So what does that look like day to day? Well, it really boils down to four main things. You're completely re-engineering how a service works, not just slapping a website on top of a broken old process. You're using data to get ahead of problems instead of just reacting to them. You're automating all that boring, repetitive admin to free up your people. And finally, you're getting rid of waste by sharing functions.
All right, so that's the what. Now for the how. The leaders who are really getting this right are focusing on four key strategies. Think of these as the essential building blocks for a much smarter public sector. Let's dig into each one.
First up, digital-first service delivery. And the crucial point here is that this is about a total redesign for self-service, from start to finish. It's not about just sticking a web form on a paper process from the 1980s. And when councils really get this right, the results are dramatic. We're talking a 30 to 40% drop in calls to their contact centers. That's huge.
Strategy number 2 is all about process automation. Using tools like AI and robotic process automation, or RPA, this is already taking over all those high-volume, repetitive tasks. Think benefits processing, HR admin, matching invoices. And let's be super clear, AI isn't some far-off sci-fi concept. It's being used right now by major organizations like HMRC and NHS England to reduce errors and speed everything up.
Third is using data to make way better decisions. So many public bodies are sitting on an absolute goldmine of data, but they aren't really using it. This strategy is all about turning that data into proactive decisions, being able to step in earlier in social care, spotting fraud more effectively, or making hospital discharges run more smoothly. And the fourth key strategy is shared services. This one is about consolidating those essential but behind-the-scenes functions, finance, HR, IT, across different departments. It just makes sense, right? It cuts out so much duplication and saves a ton of money. The key to making it work? You've got to have really clear rules so everyone knows who's responsible for what. Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, but does it actually work? Well, let's look at the evidence. We're talking about real, measurable results here. Proof of the impact on cost, on speed, and most importantly, on people. Just take a look at the financial impact. This chart says it all, really. By shifting from a traditional manual service to a digital one, you can slash the cost per transaction by 20 to 35%. That is a massive efficiency gain, and it frees up money for other critical services. And if you think that's impressive, the impact on speed is even more dramatic. By automating those back office functions we talked about, some organizations are seeing processing times drop by, get this, up to 70%. Think about what that means in the real world. Benefits get paid faster, applications get approved sooner, the whole system just becomes more responsive. And here's a really important point. This isn't about replacing people, it's about empowering them. This chart shows what happens to staff time. Automation handles all the low-value admin, which means skilled public servants can focus on the complex, high-impact casework where their expertise truly makes a difference. So, the strategies are clear and the evidence is compelling. But that brings us to the final and maybe the most important part of the puzzle. You see, it's one thing to know what to do. It's another thing entirely to have the leadership and the will to actually do it. The path to transformation is never easy, and the roadblocks are predictable. You've got cultural resistance, old IT systems, data locked away in silos, and skills gaps. But here's the good news. For every single one of these hurdles, there's a clear way forward. It's about investing in real leadership, being smarter with technology, forging agreements to share data, and, this is a big one, building up skills internally. So for any leaders watching, here's a clear 5-step plan to get started. First, define your outcomes. What are you actually trying to achieve? Then, baseline your current state. Be honest. Third, prioritize ruthlessly. Don't try to boil the ocean. Then, build the right team to oversee it. And finally, measure your progress and be ready to adopt. Ultimately, this quote just sums it all up perfectly. True transformation isn't just a project to cut costs. The leaders who are going to succeed in the next decade will be the ones who see this as a core strategic capability, a new, better way of serving the public, for good. So the evidence is in, and the playbook is written. The potential to create more effective, efficient, and user-friendly public services is enormous, which leaves us with one final provocative thought. The only question left is whether our public organizations have leaders with the vision and the courage to actually act.